Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, kings and queens of the land. Good afternoon, the royals. Good afternoon to the liberated zones of Africa, Burkina Faso under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traore, Mali under the leadership of President Assimi Goita. Uh, eh, Niger under the leadership of President Abdurrahman Tian. Good afternoon to the Sahel. Good afternoon to the KZN. Good afternoon to KZN under the leadership of President Zuma, under the leadership of the MK Party. Good afternoon to all the um, children, to all the daughters and the sons of the soil. My name is Mngoni Mkonto, and this is the Royal Opinion. Today we're talking about, we will talk about the Sona, and we will talk about Teriatel, and also a little bit about DRC. I think we'll talk about a little bit of all of these things. We'll talk about a little bit of everything today. Maybe I should first remark, I should first give this remark. I think planet Earth was invaded by negative elements, by aliens who attacked the planet's natural resources. The aliens who came in the planet to destroy the people's culture. They've actually attacked every indigenous nation in the planet. They have attacked in every natural occurrence in the planet to destroy the planet. The aim is to destroy and control the planet, to put the planet under massive control. But I think these people have lost their grip on the planet. Things are changing. Let me first talk about Ramaphosa and get him out of the way. Um, I think President Ramaphosa, let me first uh, uh, let me first confess that I did not watch the Sona, but I want to talk about the Sona a little bit because I know what President Ramaphosa would have said. The reason I did not watch the Sona is because during the time when the Sona was starting, we had load shedding. One of the lies that President Ramaphosa tells, and one of the lies that the ANC tells, or any person who is in white areas, they say there is 300 days without load shedding, while in villages we experience load shedding every day. In areas where black people live, there's load shedding every day. In South Africa. So black people who stay in white areas are the ones who are lucky because they will not have load shedding. So, but black people who stays in black areas like ourselves, we've always had load shedding. We have never had a single day without load shedding. Even today, as I'm speaking, there's load shedding in our area. There was load shedding in the morning, and there will be load shedding now. Maybe in an hour's time, we will have our load shedding. So So this is one of the lies that President Ramaphosa have said many times that he will end load shedding. He did not end load shedding. Even today, when the ANC are celebrating 300 days of no load shedding, it's actually a lie because in our area, there's never been any time where load shedding have stopped. There's never been any moment where load shedding has ever stopped. So President Ramaphosa was giving his State of the Nation address yesterday. I did not watch the speech because, as I have said, there was load shedding. But I did not go back to watch the speech. Who wants to watch Ramaphosa after he has spoken? There's nobody who's got an interest. I also can't stand him. I can't stand listening to President Ramaphosa uh, after the event has ended. So I couldn't watch because obviously I couldn't watch Ramaphosa. I couldn't watch him after the State of the Nation address has ended this morning because it's very dull and very boring. So listening to him, it's like punishing yourself. So I decided not to punish myself, but still want to talk about his State of the Nation address. What I can say about the State of the Nation address from President Ramaphosa is he repeated, most probably he repeated all the things that is said before in the previous State of the Nation address. But what I want to highlight mostly is that he's lying, and because of his reputational damage that he is suffering doing, he is illustrated many times, shown President Ramaphosa have shown many times. I wonder if this is actually even live. So President Ramaphosa have shown many times that he's a liar. He's a serial liar. The serial liar, the serial Ramaphosa supposed to be written serial liar because he's been lying since ever he took office. He has never accomplished a single thing out of the things that he's promised people to accomplish. If there's anyone who is a failure in the highest order, President Ramaphosa is a failure in the highest order in South Africa. Okay, President Ramaphosa, off our table, let me talk about important issues because President Ramaphosa does not talk anything important for black people. President Ramaphosa is at the moment an obstacle to achieve liberation in South Africa. As we speak, President Ramaphosa is the one cooperating with white people to keep black people in slavery, to keep black people in subjugation. This platform that we're speaking in, the platform that I'm speaking in, which is YouTube, is highly discriminating. It censors uh, people who tell the truth, highly discriminating. So the platform, I'm not even sure because I see a lot of messages on my, lots of warning on my YouTube, on my YouTube wall. I see a lot of warnings. They are sending me different warnings, but it's because we're talking the truth and the royal opinion. So uh, the Sahel state, the Sahel, meaning Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, the three countries in the Sahel that have come up with the Sahel Alliance. They've now come up with a telecommunication. They want to build a telecommunication network which will unify their people, which will, they are going to use instead of their Western companies, Western private companies. This is a very powerful development. I don't even think the world is ready for what Africa is about to give. I don't think Europe and America are ready for what Africa is about to reveal to the planet. This is a very, very serious development. Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali's population is around 70 million people. The growth of the population is estimated in 5 years, in between 5 and 10 years. Let me say in 10 years' time, they would have passed 100 million. They are combining their economic power. They are now taking over the telecommunication. They want to provide telephone communication and also internet to their own citizens. This is very critical and very important. It's supposed to be like that. Every country was supposed to have their own telecommunication network providing their own people. They say it will make their network cheaper. It will make their network cheaper in Burkina Faso, but as well it will assist in ensuring that they have control over their communication. Like now, I'm saying YouTube is highly discriminating of my videos. More people are not able to watch, not because um, what I'm saying does not make sense, not because of my abilities, but because of the discrimination which YouTube has on their platform. So if the government takes over control, it means the people takes over control because the government is accountable to the people of their network. So in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, the governments have decided to take control. That is very significant. They will be able to hear when the terrorists are talking on their network. They will be able to detect criminals while the criminals are still planning. They won't be depending on private companies. They will not be dependent on private companies to arrest criminals. They will be dependent on their own system which they have set up. I was actually looking at, uh, I took a look at the how much Africa per annum with a population of around 60 million people. Vodacom makes about, let me say, combined income of Vodacom and MTN, it's about 100 billion. It's about 100 billion. And out of this 100 billion, about 32 out of this 100 billion, 32 billion rands is actually profit. 32 billion rands per annum, 32 billion rands per year is profit for MTN that goes to private hands. It's profit that goes to private hands. MTN get their profits. MTN and Vodacom gets their profits. On the Sunday. So can you imagine the difference that 32 billion rands can make in South Africa? Can you imagine the number of schools that we can build with 32 billion? Can you imagine the universities that we can end up building, University of Technologies that we will end up building if we take control of such network? Because if you make a profit of 30 billion per annum, if you make a profit, if you make that as a profit, that is too massive. After all expenses, after paying everybody, after paying all the service providers, paying everything, you still have you still have 32 you still have 32 billion as a profit. That is massive. It's quite a lot of money. So if let's say if South Africa there was Telcom was a government controlled telecommunication network which Afrikaners have built and were using in South Africa, but they killed it for the sake of the private sector, for the sake of Vodacom and MTN. They've destroyed it. The government was not even the black people, the ANC did not even have control over that thing. The white people, I think they have wiped it out when they were moving out of government. What am I saying when I say they were moving out of government? Wait, which government? Because they never moved out of government. They are still in control. So they actually killed their telecommunication company that South Africans was wholly dependent on, which was Telcom. Before the arrival of Vodacom and MTN, Telecom was the one which was providing telecommunication to South Africans. It was destroyed. It was going to be important for the country to be able to provide its own communication, its own internet to its own citizens. Sometimes when people have got political rallies, sometimes they switch off the internet, sometimes they switch off the network for communication, all of this sabotage, and there's nobody to account because these are private individuals, these are private companies. You've got nobody to account. YouTube is very discriminating. The discrimination on YouTube is huge, it's massive. It's not only discriminating only about what you say, it's also discriminating about color. It discriminates about color. If you search information, it first give you the list of white people who are providing that service before they can give you a black person. They give you the list of the people who can help you, who are white first, before the machine can give you anyone who is black, and unless that black person is promoting the white system. If that black person is promoting the white system, then they can put them in the same level as the white people, people who will help them to keep the system in place. For what Africa is about to give them, I think the Americans are not ready for what Africa is about to give them, because the Sahel itself have unleashed an electric car in Zimbabwe. Maxwell Chukumbuzo on the 10th is launching an electric car which does not need fuel, which does not need recharging. You only charge it once, and that is for good, for life. The car is driving for free. The first of its kind in the planet is going to be launched on the 10th of this month, in few days. Today is the 6th. In 3 days' time, there will be a launch of an electric car in Zimbabwe by Maxwell Chikumbuzo, who has made the discovery of free electricity. He has designed a generator, he has designed an electric car and a drone. You also have a helicopter which can run in any fuel, in petrol, paraffin, or whatever fuel that you can just put and run it. The engine can run on any fuel. But now he's got that discovery, it's going to fly for free. Do you imagine what it's going to do to the mining industry, because they must stop the coal mining? Do you imagine what it's going to do to the uh, petrol industry, because they must stop the 4 billion on fuel per day. If South Africa is spending 1.4 billion on fuel, then Chikumbuzo unleashed this kind of fuel. 1.4 billion is out of pocket of somebody. Is the world ready for, is America ready for this? Is Europe ready for this? Fana, much for joining. All the students, please announce your presence. Please announce your presence. All the students, announce your presence. Thank you very much for joining there. So I think the world is not ready for what we are about to, Africa is about to offer. The distraction which is going to happen on the television industry, because this guy itself, without connecting to any power cable, very remote areas, even when you are under sea, you still have his electricity or his network. So the telecommunication company, which is getting started in Burkina Faso, is going to take a lot from the European market. Already, these people are suffering because they were in Burkina Faso, they were taking minerals, and these minerals in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they were taking uraniums, they were taking different types of minerals and putting them in, taking them to for processing in the European countries. Now that Burkina Faso says they want to process their own, the Sahel says they want to process the minerals on their own. Thank you very much, Bongo Ingumalo. Present teacher, greetings to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much. All students, please announce your presence. Anyone who is joining, please announce your presence. Click the like button and subscribe. So Africa is getting liberated if we've got telecommunication and if we get liberated tele on the internet, on the telecommunication, and we get liberated on the economy, meaning our minerals are for us, and we get liberated on our agriculture, meaning we explore our own method, agricultural products, then Africa is liberated. It's massive. The two move, the Maxwell Chikumbuzo's move is too powerful. They initially wanted to launch a war. The Nigerian president initially promised to attack Niger if they continue to get out of ECOWAS, if they continue to keep the military leader, because they did not want Mali to get liberated. Okay, let me talk a little bit about the DRC, the conflict, the issues in the DRC, the difficulty that the difficulty that is there to resolve the issue of the DRC. Let me first maybe give the dynamics of what is happening there in terms of proximity, in terms of maybe language and understanding. Maybe people will start to understand it in a different way. This conflict is difficult to to adjudicate or to stop. Before white people came, there was a kingdom in that area. Before there was demarcation of Rwanda, Ghana, whatsoever, South Africa. Before there was all of this, there were people, there were kingdoms. But when these colonial masters, the evil people, the aliens who came to capture the people and destroy nature, when they came and started dividing Africa for their own economic benefit, they never cared about which kingdom was where and whatever the borders of which kingdoms and what. They never honored anything. They only wanted to take whatever they wanted to take for themselves. They were focusing on minerals, not on the people. The people did not matter for them. The people were minor, so people could be pushed to any place or be killed if they resist in any way, because people were useless for them. What was useless is the minerals and the mining. So when they came to the DRC, they divided the area. If you check the distance from Goma to Kinshasa, the distance from Goma to Kinshasa is about 2,000, let me say 2,700 kilometers from Kinshasa to Goma. That's a very long distance. 2,700 kilometers, let me say. And Kinshasa is the capital city of the DRC. Goma is a city on the outskirts of the DRC. The distance from Goma to Kigali, or from Kigali to Goma, Kigali is in Rwanda. The capital city of Rwanda is Kigali. The distance from Goma to Kigali is around 162 kilometers. The people who stays in Goma speaks the same language as the people who are in Rwanda. Goma itself is closer to Rwanda than it is to Kinshasa. If you are, maybe you are looking for services and they tell you some of the services can only be found at the head office, which is 2,700 kilometers away from where you are. What is the frustration for the community members? Why do we have the fertile ground, basically? Why do we have the fertile ground for people to fight in the DRC? These are the dynamics that are involved, that are creating that fertile ground for people to go and exploit the people of Congo in order to take the minerals there. So, based on these dynamics, the powers that comes from Europe wants to use this dynamics that people in Goma are closer to Kigali, are closer to Rwanda. They are basically people who came from the same kingdom. It was basically Rwanda, it was a kingdom. So they are actually in the same kingdom. They speak the same language, same people. But these ones are now in DRC and the other ones are in Rwanda. Is it Paul Kagame justified to go and fight for the minerals in the Congo? Because the minerals do belong to his grandfathers. Is he justified? Is Lesotho justified to claim the land in South Africa? Because it belongs to them, part of the Free State, and it belongs to them, and part of the Val. Is Lesotho justified to claim the land? Is Swaziland justified to claim Nelspruit because it belongs to them? It belongs to the kingdom. I think so. I think all the Africans are justified to claim any part of Africa, and all black people are justified to claim any part of Africa as their own. What the leaders need to do is to unite Africa and make it one. The resources of Africa be utilized for all of Africa's people. This individualization, that I've got this and you don't have this and that. If we make Africa one country, then all the resources that are found in any part of Africa belongs to all people in Africa. Otherwise, Lesotho does have a claim to the Free State. Swaziland do have a claim to Barberton, to MLO and all that place because it was a Swati kingdom. They were pushed out. A lot of areas in Pretoria, the Ndebele people do have a claim in Pretoria because they were pushed out of Pretoria. It was a kingdom. So exploiting this dynamics are the people, the leaders, the SADC leaders who are greedy, the SADC leaders who are there for their own personal gain. Let me say, uh, all the countries are led by the same mafia. The same mafia install all these smaller people who are coming to control us end of the day. So the people in the president in Zimbabwe, President Mnangagwa, is installed by the Queen, as the president in South Africa is installed by the Queen as well. So these people are working together. The president in Mozambique is installed by Portugal, the queen, the king of Portugal. So those are the people who are putting these people in place. So these people are very corrupt. They are not saving, they are saving their masters. But while saving their masters have taught them to uh, take, to steal as well, something, some crepes for themselves. So Kagame in the DRC is fighting for his own benefit, his own pockets. He's not even fighting for his people. If he was fighting for his people, it was better. But he's fighting for control of the minerals for his own personal benefit, I guess. President Ramaphosa is fighting for the minerals in the DRC, Congo, and also Mnangagwa, Daniel Chapo, all these people who are in the DRC, they are all fighting for the same thing, for the control of the minerals in the DRC. The blood minerals that they want from the DRC, which they want to give to the technology companies, which the technology companies are taking for themselves. So those are the dynamics in the DRC. What would be the solution there? Because let's say now you say let's cut part of DRC, let's cut Goma to, we take this part and give it to Rwanda. Paul Kagame may not be satisfied by just the peace. He will be okay now to take that part. But what if 10 years later, 5 years later, he comes in and again do the same thing, attack another area, and are you gonna still cut and give it to him? If you say they should be independent of the DRC, if some other people again do the same thing, go and create a rebellion in another part of the country, are you gonna give them a state? It's going to be very difficult. The other solutions are not really solutions, are going to be very difficult. So the only solution that I see is Africa uniting for all African resources to be controlled by the same center for the benefit of all African people and African children. That is the solution that we can have in the DRC. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining the live stream. Enjoy your day, Mr. Fana Mlaoli. Thank you very much, Bongiwe Ngumalo. Thank you very much. Enjoy your the rest of your day.